Rev up your engines! Alright, it's new tire time for the motorcycle. Now, motorcycles only have 2 tires, so it's of utmost importance they're both good. Now, this motorcycle's 10 years old. The rear tire has already been replaced, because the rear one's a driver, it wears out faster. But the front's still original. And even though there's some tread left, it's getting a little thin, but look closer, you can see cracks. It's time for a new one. Now, shops want a small fortune, so I'm going to show you how you can do it yourself. It's not that hard. And of course, buy the tire ahead of time. I got a good price online. All you have to do is look at the size. In this case, it's 100/90-18, same as the original tire was. Now, you can go out and buy special motorcycle jacks and stuff, but hey, you can use a regular jack like I did. Check it out. I just got a piece of wood that fits under the pipes, and I jack it up, and then I put a piece of wood under the stand to make it stable, so the front wheel's up in the air. Now we just have to take it apart and get the wheel off. Now, there's various spacers and stuff on a motorcycle wheel and the axle, so take pictures of it so you make sure you put it together right. Take a picture of the inside here and the inside on the other side. That way you won't get confused. So we'll unbolt the axle here from one side, then the other. And on the right side, there's a little cap we have to take off, covering something that tightens. There we go. Then we have to loosen that, because it's holding it together, which is an Allen wrench, 6mm. There we go. Get that out of the way. Now we should be able to tap it out. You can see it's coming out. And out it comes. Off comes the wheel. It's that easy. You don't want to screw things up. So this is the spacer on the right side, we'll put it to the right. And this is the spacer on the left side, we'll put it to the left. Now you don't want to scratch anything up, so I'm using cardboard on the concrete. And the first thing we're going to do, take the belt stem out to get rid of the air that's in there. You just unscrew. You use a little valve stem tool, it screws them out. Now I'm using these Bead Breaker Pros. What it does is, you stick the flat one in first, you get it under the rim, so it's in. You get the bent end, stick it in here, and when you pull on it, it takes it away from the bead. We have to break the bead the whole way around. So, there's one piece. Move it over here a little. Takes a little while. Now I don't even need to use that tool. I can just stick it in and break it the whole way around. And to make it easier, liquid soap. That'll make it easier to come apart. Work it in a little. Now we'll go around the tire, breaking the bead. Just keep moving it, and once you get one side done, you gotta flip it over and do the other. Now we got it loose, we gotta do the other side. So flip it over, and we'll do the other side. And the same thing. Put a little liquid soap around it, and we'll do the same process. You put the thin one in first, then we pull it. Takes it off the bead. Move it again. Yeah, it's boring, but you're saving yourself a lot of money doing it yourself. Now comes the hard part. You got to get this off. So, you stick the other end in, get it under the tire, and you got to pull it out. This is the hard part. Now, the other side is kind of sticky, so I flipped it over. And there. Now you see, it's starting to come off. You do little bites at a time. We'll see there's a little bite here we can bite. You got this on here. We'll see if we're strong enough here. And there we go. We're starting to get it out. It's a job. There's no arguing that. We'll slide this up. Then we'll take another bite. And if you can't get it in, give it a little hammer. Get it in better. A lot of work, but you'll be happy when it's done. But as you can see, now as you work your way across, it's coming out. Don't bite out too much at once. You see? Start to come off. Use the back one, put it in front of that, pick it up, do the next one, pick it up, and there you go. We're half done. Now we got to do the other side. And we do the same thing, take it inside. We got to get it at this time inside there. Then when you get the old tire off, throw it away. Then you just spoon the new one on. It's a lot easier putting them on than it is taking them off. Then if you remember, we had a spacer on this side here, and another spacer on the other side. Don't forget the spacers when you roll it back on. Now you gotta slide it on the brake caliper. It's too lazy to take it off. And pull up on it where you put your through bolt on. Lining it up is the hard part. There we go. And you put the washer on here. And this has one of these lock nuts on it. You put it on. Now the real question is, how tight do you make the knot? If you make it too loose, it might fall off. If you make it too tight, it'll ruin the bearings. Well, in this case, it's about 48 foot-pounds of torque. So, we'll set this at 48 foot-pounds of torque. So we just tighten it up till it clicks. Now we got a wrench on that. We'll hold this and pull this till it clicks. There we go. That's it. Now it's super tight. Not too tight, not too loose. Just right. Now, since this is the front wheel, it's easy to see if it's out of balance. We just spin it and see if it keeps moving back and forth, meaning one side's heavier than the other. But in this case, it stops, but it doesn't go back and forth. Okay, it stops. I'll put my lick here. We'll spin it again. And you notice, now the lick point's over there. That shows that's not the heaviest point. It's perfectly balanced as it is. This is a good Pirelli tire. It came good the way it was. It didn't even need balancing. So we'll take my little wood block out from under the kickstand. Things are getting hot in the sun now. And we'll gradually bring this down. And that's it. The wood kept it from damaging the bottom of the motorcycle. We got a brand new tire. Now we can have fun and not worry about an old cracked one. It still had tread, but it was 12 years old. Dangerous. This is new. It's nice and soft. It's going to corner better. It's not going to slide like a worn out tire that's full of cracks. I saved 75 bucks buying a nice Pirelli tire online. Put it on and now I can drive safely. The old tire did have tread, but it was 12 years old. It was too hard and cracking. You only got 2 wheels on the bike, so take care of the tires you have or you'll regret it. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Elgato says, Scotty, I'm an 18-year-old guy asking for your advice. Would you recommend me to buy a Dodge STR4 Neon? No. The Neons are rolling piles of crap. They souped it up a little bit, but they're not very well-made cars. Now, on the other hand, if you can get one dirt cheap and it runs good now and it doesn't have a zillion miles on it, what the heck? You're 18 years old. You don't want to spend much money on a car. If it runs and shifts okay now, what the heck? You know, it's not going to last forever, but if you can get it cheap enough and it still runs good, why not? But if you want dependable long-term transportation, no, I wouldn't buy it. Solution Studio said, should I upgrade my front drum brakes to disc? Well, you must have a really old car. The last car I had was a 1974 Maverick, and it had front drum brakes. I just left them. They worked perfectly fine. Disc brakes, they put them on. They're actually cheaper to manufacture, which is one of the reasons, and they weigh less, so you get a tiny bit better gas mileage. Another reason they make them that way. Now, they don't fade as much under racing conditions, but that's fast as you can go, slam on the brakes. Fast as you can go, slam on the brakes, right? They won't fade. The drum brakes will fade if you drive like that, but the discs won't fade because they dissipate heat faster because the disc is spinning with air holes and it cools better than a sealed drum. Right? But for normal driving, the drums work perfectly fine. If you're not racing around, I wouldn't waste my money. But if you're a real maniac driver and you're taking it out, souping it up, putting a lot of horsepower, driving it on the strip or something, yeah, I'd switch it over to discs then. Daniel says, do you think you had a major part in the high resale value of Toyotas? Well, they did long before I was talking about them. Maybe some tiny amount. I would say I have a higher impact on losing a fortune to Porsche, BMW, Audi, telling people what junk those guys make and how they're endless money pits. I probably lost them hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. And convincing people, don't buy those things. Please don't waste your money on them. People buy Toyotas because they don't break down, then they buy another one. And my father, the first one he bought, years later, he said, thanks for telling me to buy a Toyota. I said, yeah, but we had Fords and Chevys all the time when I was a kid, and I remember they worked okay. My grandfather, his father, was a mechanic. He said, nah, your grandfather, he was always working on them, fixing something. And I was, we didn't do anything to the Toyota Corolla but change the oil and filter. That's all we did to it, you know? So, no, they stand for themselves, you know? That's why they sell them. Mike Jisker said, Scotty, could you stop bashing BMWs? I got one I have to unload. I mean, sell, and you're hurting my chances. Thanks, Mike from Nebraska. Well, Well, I'm here to tell the truth. You know, that's the way that it goes. I mean, my grandson just sold one. He got a V8 and it ran like a scalded ape, and he traded it even for a Jeep Wrangler that's completely off-road with about $35,000 worth of special rock crawling stuff. So he ended up getting rid of it. The guy thanked him, actually, because he liked the speed of the BMW. And he knows it's an older BMW, but he liked the speed and he traded it. So find somebody who likes the speed and likes BMW. You know, that's just the way BMW, I have to tell the truth to people. They're endless money pits if you buy one. If you want a toy, a secondhand toy, fine. I got customers that have BMW M3, the little racers, and they're weekend toys, and they love them. They play around with them. Insane horsepower in a light little car. They're fun. But for everybody else, don't buy one unless you want a money pit. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.